Good evening, all. Hope you've had a good week. Mine's been pretty manic, I've got to be honest. First day off from the singing today, so I thought, I know, let's do a live, because actually, well, to be honest with you, because I love doing the nutrition side of things as well, so why wouldn't I want to do a quick live? But what it was is I thought it would be good to sort of try and answer some of the sort of questions, very popular questions that I'm asked in regards to what I've trained to do and what I offer and what I advise in regards to my nutrition business. In case maybe if you've been wondering these things, or maybe if you sort of liked my page but want to know more of what I'm all about, then I thought might be a handy video for you. So yeah, but I did also say in the description that if there's any other questions that you think of, please message me or comment on the post, and I'll do my best to answer them for you, or comment whilst I'm doing this, you know. Matt Terrence said to me, I'll see you tomorrow then, because you know, he knows what I'm like with these lives. I get on one and I'm like that. Right. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. I've got 11 questions. I've written them down. 11 questions. Is the diet, as we call it, because that's sort of a very general term for these things, is this diet that you offer or the plan that you offer extreme, or does it restrict calories? And the simple answer to that is no. No, it doesn't. And for some people, it's quite the opposite. It all depends on what journey you've got to go on in regards to whether or not you're someone that maybe has been exceeding the energy, calories, both mean the same thing, having been exceeding what your body needs or what it is burning off. If that is the case, then of course I would have to look at reducing your calories into a deficit to get you into fat loss burning mode. But it would not be extreme. I know there's a lot of diets out there, fad diets, and I'm not going to name any names, but that get you on these insane calorie restrictions like 800, 700. And it's hell. And it's not fun, and you have to basically remove any alcohol, remove any fizzy drinks, and remove all these sorts of things from your diet. But that is not the case with what I offer. What I offer is basically a full, well-balanced diet within an amount of calories that is right for you and the journey that you are on, whether it be having to increase in a reverse diet situation to get your metabolism out of a rut, or whether or not it means maybe coming down slightly to allow for fat loss to happen. So no restrictions. Do I have to omit any type of food group from my diet that you put me on? Okay, so carbohydrates, fats and proteins are called macronutrients, or shortened to macros. You'll hear me say macros quite a lot. And they are nutrients that your body needs in large quantities. Fats, carbohydrates and proteins. And none of them are taken away from your diet when you're put on a plan with me. And actually, many people are surprised about how much you need of these macros. I think there's a lot about going around about low carbohydrate diets and high protein diets and low fat diets, and it's all about getting the right balance for your body to function correctly and be balanced, and for you to feel well. So no, there are no restrictions on that either. And I normally look, if I'm honest, if I go for a general that I do with the majority of people, a general idea of the percentages that you would be on macro wise would be 50%. So half of your diet and your calorie amounts would be carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are very important as your energy source of what you burn throughout the day, going about your normal life, and you need them. They're vital. Also for hormone health, especially women, even more than men, but hormone health, energy, and also for keeping your mood balanced, for making you happy, for helping you sleep. Carbohydrates are vital for all of that. So 50% of your diet for carbs, 20%, I put the protein at, maybe slightly higher sometimes. So you can go at 15, maybe 10 to 20, but I like to aim it at 20% because I'm finding that I'm working with a lot of women that are maybe going into perimenopause and menopause, and protein is even more important as we age. We need to make sure that we are maintaining and we are building muscle, and to enable us to do that, we need protein in any source that you want to eat it in. So protein, 20%. And then that leaves fat, 30%. Now, I know people have banged on for years about low-fat diets. Fats are essential for hormone health. They're essential for us. They enable us to be able to make our vitamins and our minerals, to absorb our vitamin minerals in our body. So without fat, we wouldn't be able to do that. And as you know, vitamins and minerals are vital for our health. Without them, our bodies won't function correctly and we'll become quite unwell. So fats are 30%, but ideally when it comes to fats, you need to be thinking to go for the healthier fats. Yes, dairy are very important. Cheeses, milks, butters, all very important to your daily allowance, but they are higher in saturated fat. So it's the best forms of fats that you can get into your diet are oils, avocados, nuts, things like salmon as well. It's great for omega. So they are your healthy fats. So ideally you need to aim for more of those over any other fats, but still very important. So nothing is discounted when it comes to what I give you to work with plan-wise. How long does it take? How long is a piece of string? Okay. I'm very honest, and I have said this a few times now, about this not being a short-term solution. This is not a short-term fad diet where you can go, right, okay, well, I want to lose this amount of weight in 2 weeks of my holiday. That's not me. And there will be no point you working with me and wasting your money if that's what you want to do. My whole ethos and the whole idea behind why I did this for myself and for others is a case of explaining to people and educating them this is a long-term plan for going forward in forever, long-term life. Not saying that it's going to take you forever to reach your goals. I'm just saying that this should be, the idea behind it is to enable you to carry onwards, sitting where you're supposed to be calorized, having to maybe reach your goal and then getting to your maintenance calories and sitting on it and being happy and healthy and being able to still have everything you want in your diet within reason. So no, I can't give you a date or an idea of how long it takes, because it might be the case that you are someone that's been restricting for years and needs to actually up your calories before coming into a fat loss phase. That will be a longer process. I do say this to people when they start working with me, if they're in that situation. If you've spent years yo-yo dieting through these different diets that have been restrictive, your metabolism has probably been quite severely affected by that, and it needs to be woken up again. So to enable you to do that, you're going to have to go through a process where you increase your calories upwards to a maintenance amount, sit on it, so that your body gets used to it and your metabolism starts to feel like it's got what it needs again. And then after doing that for a reasonable amount of time, you then go into your fat loss phase. So it is a longer process, and it can take anything from about 8 weeks upwards to do that, depending on how much you've got to work up to. I've got people that have gone from literally 800 calories to 2,000 odd. So it is the longest. But if you think about it, if you're not happy and you're desperate to do something about it, you've got to get yourself out that rut. You cannot keep moving down and down and down and down in calories until you're eating nothing. There's got to be a way out of it. So the way out of it is to start eating more and to wake your body back up again. So it goes into a fat loss mode eventually. So that's the longer process. If you're someone that maybe has been eating more than your body can burn off, then yes, it will be a slightly quicker process for you, because you're going straight into a fat loss phase. And depending on how sort of how much you want to go into a deficit. So the maximum I'd ever advise would be a 500 calorie deficit from your maintenance that you've been sitting on. The maximum would be 500, which should enable you to lose £1 a week, which is a sensible amount of fat loss so that you're not losing anything else like muscle. You can do it slower than that. If you're someone that maybe feels like you need more calories, then you can go slower on it. It means that the weight loss may be slower for you. However, it will still be working and you'll still be heading in the right direction. It will just be a longer process for you, but maybe it suits you better because it's more comfortable for you and you feel more satisfied. There is no point being in a calorie deficit where you still feel hungry and you feel unhappy and you don't feel like you can stick to it. Because if you can't feel like you can go and eat that amount of calories and go about your day and feel great, then you're not on the right amount. Your body will be telling you if it's not feeling like it's the right amount of calories for you to eat. Because if you are eating in a deficit, you've got to make sure that you are keeping up with your protein levels and with your fibre especially, because it will make you feel more satisfied and more full. So there are sensible ways around hitting a deficit so that you do feel fuller and not just feel like you're having to, take away lots of things that you've enjoyed eating. And what I say about that, it's not about then saying you can't have any of those things. I mean, I like to work to an 80-20. So 80% of the time, it's good to be as healthy as you possibly can and choose the right options. But 20%, still incorporate those fun things. If you like to have an alcoholic drink, or you like to have a cake, or you want to go out with your mates at the weekend, there are always ways around doing that. Nothing is going to be taken out from that. So there we go. And that actually leads me on to my next question. Do I have to give up my favourite foods? No, you don't have to give up your favourite foods, okay? I'm not here to tell you, no, you can't eat that. No, you can't eat that. No, you can't eat that. I am here to advise you, obviously, what are the better options to eat. You're gonna, if you're eating carbohydrates, or of course it's better to opt for whole grain over white. Of course it's better to fill up your plate with lots of great vegetables, because it's not just about hitting calories with that. It's about hitting your vitamins and minerals, and it's about feeding your body the right nutrients so it feels good. So of course I'm going to tell you, pick these options, go lower fat or fat-free on dairy, because they are the better options and will help you going forward with meeting calorie amounts and also meeting your nutrient amounts as well. However, if you can fit in, if you've had a good range of your macros throughout the day and you've still got calories to burn, have that cake. Have that drink, have that chocolate bar. I'm not saying to you, don't eat things you enjoy. I'm just saying, be a bit clever on it. Know that this plan going forward is meant to help you try and adjust to a healthier way of eating, but don't say to yourself, I can't have that, I can't have that. I think if you start doing that, you're going to slide off of it. And I'm not, there's no way in the world that I'm going to be sitting here telling you you can't do that, because that is not normal life. And I'm sorry, life's too short to not be enjoying yourself and still have the things that you like. So that's what I say. Okay, so do I provide advice on healthy options? I swear that I'm answering these questions before I get to them. But yes, I do. Yes, I will always do that. I have been trained on what is the best options in regards to carbohydrates, fats and proteins. I've said some of them already. And it all depends obviously on what you enjoy food wise. When I speak to you in our chat, before we obviously go ahead with anything, I would ask you sort of things, what you like, what you don't like, and I can get an idea of what works for you. So I would always then advise you of what things can, with my gold package, if you wanted to go for the meal planning option, I will pick the recipes that are right for you and what you enjoy. So yes, and they all have a good wide range of all carbs, fats and proteins within them. So yes, I will provide advice on that. And then well, it's up to you to choose what works best for you. You've got to be happy on this. There's no point being miserable. Do I have to exercise? Right, okay, well, I always think that it's best to hit one thing at a time and not overwhelm yourself with going full pelt on everything. If you're someone that's been struggling for quite a while with your diet, there's no point start throwing everything at you in one go, because because it could overwhelm you. And to be honest with you as well, it all depends on what journey you're on again. If you're on a journey where you're having to increase your calories, like I've mentioned with reverse dieting, there's no point start going full pelt on loads and loads of exercise, because the idea behind the reverse diet is to increase your calories and get you eating more. If you're then incorporating loads of exercise, you're burning more off. So you're going to take down that calorie amount you're meant to be reaching. So I would be advising with that if you do want to incorporate some exercise, go for it, but then up your calories a little bit more. So that would in that situation, that's what I advise. If you know, I'm not going to force you into doing it. It's up to you. Exercise has got to be something that you find you enjoy doing. It's got to work individually for you. You know that I bang on about weight training, and I will continue to bang on about weight training because I know how good it is for you going forward to build muscle. And long term, once you get your diet in a good place, incorporating that will really help you sustain your metabolism. It will help you burn more fat, and if you raise your metabolism, you can eat more. So hey, I mean, for me, winning, because I love eating more. So yes, exercise is something I always discuss with clients, and we work out what's right for you at the time. And if you want to do something, I can help advise what's the best thing for you to do. And if you're someone that maybe is doing it at home, I can send you links to videos as well. I use YouTube. I don't go to the gym. I can't afford to go to the gym. So I do everything at home. I just sign on to maybe online classes, or I just use YouTube, and I've got my own weights. So there's always ways around it. And walking is free. I walk. I walk and walk. So yeah, there we go. Can I still drink alcohol? Yes. Yes, you can still drink alcohol. Alcohol, though, is sugars, and sugars are carbohydrates. So if you are going to have a drink, just be aware that you have to incorporate that into your carbohydrate allowance, because it will knock your sugar levels up and your carbohydrate amounts up. So you wouldn't be able to, let's say, eat as many carbohydrates that day, because you would have to, if you wanted to still fit within your calorie amounts, you'd have to account for that alcohol you drank. And I will always say to people, if you want more bang for your buck with alcohol, don't opt for the wine. Because if you think about a wine being about 200 calories for a glass, if you have a vodka and a slimline tonic, vodka's around about 35 calories for a 25ml shot. So think about the difference of that compared to a glass of wine. Hey, I mean, okay, I'm not encouraging drinking here, but I could fit a couple more vodkas in that way, couldn't I, really? If I was, say I was going out with my mates for the evening and I knew that I was trying to stick to this plan, but I wanted to have a good time, then I pick the vodka, because you're going to be able to sit there and have a couple and still fit it within your calories over having a glass of wine that's going to knock your sugar right up and your calories are gone, aren't they? It's just about being clever with that, I think. But if you love wine and you love beer and you love cider and all these things, just account for them in your tracking. If you're working with me, you'll know the calories you've got to stick to. Account for them in your tracking. Put them in. Say, right, I'm going to have that beer tonight. Put it in your calories. You know then, you'll see your carbohydrate for a while. You'll even go up. And you'll be like, you haven't got to say to yourself, I'm just going to not worry about it tonight. And I'll just pull back slightly, which you can do. Pull back slightly other days to make up for what I've had tonight, because it all balances out. It all balances out for about a week. So you don't have to worry about, I've blown it all on one day. The diet's completely ruined. You just pick up the next day and you put it back 100 calories or something just to make up for it. You can do that if you want to, but alcohol is not off limits. At the end of the day, a lot of us out there are working our asses off day in, day out. We've got kids. We've got a lot of stresses going on in life with family, staff and the rest of it. Sometimes we just all need a drink, don't we? Yes. So have that drink, but just account for it and be aware of calories around alcohol. If you start tracking stuff on MyFitnessPal, which obviously I try, if people want to use it, it's very, very helpful. You'll see what calories are and things, and sometimes it's a bit of a shocker. So yes, that's to do with alcohol. Do I have to track and weigh things? Oh, I can't lie on that one. Ideally, yes. I think there's a lot more success with this if you track it and weigh it. Now, I offer obviously the link with FitnessPal because I can link it to my software so I can view your diaries, which helps both of us. It make it a lot more quicker and easier process. However, if you don't like FitnessPal, there are other apps out there, but you would just need to send me screenshots so I can see what you're doing and make sure that you're on the right track. If you don't want to do that, or it doesn't work for you, the only other way around it would be to do food diaries, which is where I would send you a diary to fill out, and then you can write down what you've had. Not gonna lie to you, it takes a lot longer. Apps are a lot easier, but you can write it all down if you want to. And I have had people that have done that, bless them, and they worked really hard at it, because writing all the grams and the calories down, it takes a bit of time. And I've done it in my own training with my nutrition course. So it is harder work, but it's not impossible. But yeah, tracking it will aid success. Otherwise, if you don't track anything, how on earth do you know how much you're actually eating? And if I'm obviously advising you to stick to an amount of calories and your carbs, fat and proteins, how are you going to know what you're eating? You're not, are you? Unless you actually put it down or you weigh things. I mean, I've said to you, look, try and stick to around this amount of rice. I mean, I don't know about you, but I haven't got a clue what rice weighs unless I put it on the scales. So I would say if you want true success in this process, track and weigh, people. I know when you've got busy lives, you think, oh, for Christ's sakes, now I've got to put all that. What did I have today? I forgot what I had today. If you get on it, if you get on board with it and you just get used to doing it, it just becomes part and parcel of your day. It takes 5 minutes, so it's worth doing, because you will see really what you're doing and it will help you, and soon you'll become like some people do that a bit obsessed with it all. I can't help myself. Oh no, I do that. So yeah, it is important, I think. How do I track your results? I do that by taking measurements. I think yes, we do scales, weights, scales. It is important to have a set, I think, and a tape measure, because now, as much as I do go by scales, they're not the be all and end all in this thing. Your weight can fluctuate 4 pounds, 5. It can fluctuate by that amount in a day, depending on time of the month, depending on water, depending on sort of exercise that you've done, because obviously glycogen, if you hold water in your muscles, anything can affect your weight on a daily basis. Some people like to do it every single day and then take an average, because that gives you maybe more of an idea of where you're sitting weekly. But doing your weight every day takes a lot of dedication. I do it weekly, and I like to see where we're at with it. Sometimes it's more to do with the people that I'm trying to build up in calories, because if we're going upwards and we're trying to weighten the metabolism up again, I need to see whereabouts the weight's sitting, because if it's starting to climb too high, I need to make sure we're keeping a track of that and we're not pushing too much with the calories. So there are ways, there are sort of reasons behind why I do ask for weight on scales, but also some people like to do that. And if you've got those fandangly scales that tell you things like fat percentage and fat percentage and muscle percentage, you can see extra things on there, like where your fat and your visceral fat sitting and things like that. How accurate they are, I'm not really sure, but some people like to do that and it helps them. So yes, we do take weight, and I also take measurements of bust, waist on belly button, hips and thighs, because measurements, they don't really lie, do they? I mean, if you put a tape measure, okay, they're not always perfect, and sometimes you can think, where did I measure my thigh last week? Is that the exact same spot that I was last week? It's never going to be absolutely 100% spot on, but you're going to notice if you've lost a couple of centimetres off your waist, aren't you? You can't fake that. And I also say to people with clothes as well, keep an eye on your clothes and see how you feel in your clothes. You'll soon know if things start to loosen, won't you? Or they tighten. You know that yourself. I'm like that with clothes. Certain clothes, I'm like, so yeah, that's the measurements I take, and we do them weekly so we can really track your progress and see how you're doing. You can take photographs as well if you want to. I don't do that myself. I don't really promote that much, but some people, it can really work well for them to take a starting photograph and then see, because you'll soon notice. Because it will be when you see people, really, when you haven't seen people for a while, they're the ones that notice most. When you're with people every single day, or you see yourself every day, you're less likely to see sort of what progress you've made. But I think when you see people that you haven't seen for a while, they're the ones that notice more, really. So yes, that's how I track results when I work with someone. Do I provide meal plans? I do. I have a gold package. I'm not very good at promoting it, to be honest with you. And I don't really push it on people because I think that if you're someone that has the capabilities of knowing how to put a meal together and what you're going to put in it, and and you're quite confident going forward with, say, the silver package and just eating your own thing, but meeting the amounts I've asked you to meet, gold's no good for you. And but some people want the ease of it. They want to say, just give me a load of recipes that I know got everything I need in them and I can work to, and then I know what I've got to make and when. And that's perfect for someone that needs that. When I say about meal plans as well, I say this, I do not provide, let's say, because my packages run for, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks. That's the initial one. I'm not going to provide you with a meal plan that is every single day for 4 to 5 weeks. I will give within the gold package two or three templates, depending, where I set out the amount of calories and macros you need to be on, and then I then put into those meal plans examples. So the recipes that I provide with it, showing you a breakfast, a lunch and a dinner, and then I also look at your diaries that you've been doing and I add in things that maybe you like an alcoholic drink or a chocolate bar or something you really like, maybe you want to keep in your diet, or even if it's a piece of fruit, anything at all. I then make those two templates to show you how to go about doing it and how to fit it to your own life, and then I leave you to it, because if you're going to go forward with this, I can't be there every single day going, you need to be on this, and you need to be watching this, you need to be eating this, and that's it. That's not going to work. That's not real life. Okay? But that's what I provide. 2 templates with the gold package. And I think the last one that I've sent out today to someone is 81 pages long. So there's quite a lot of recipes there to choose from. And of course, you know, if you're someone that says, I don't like fish, I'm not going to give you a load of fish dishes, am I? So it's going to be to suit what things you like food-wise. So that's where it comes to with meal planning. Do I help with different sorts of clients? This is my last question. Well, hey, we made it. We made it. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. When I went to do my training, I had to cover all sorts of different areas of nutrition. So I've covered pregnancy, I've covered postnatal, I've covered older people, I've covered children, sports and exercise, diabetes, I've covered vegetarian and vegan, I've covered intolerances. So you get where I'm going. There wasn't an option to cover peri or menopause. However, with my own extensive research in that area, being in it myself, I feel like I can cover that one. So, but yes, if you're someone that's got a specific need or an area, or you are pregnant or post, yes, I've done courses and all of these different things. So I'm able to point you in the right direction as to what you should be eating to suit that. And also advise, I mean, especially with things like pregnancy, there's going to be certain sort of vitamins and minerals that you should be making sure that you are consuming, or certain ones you should be avoiding within your diet, and supplements as well. So, you know, and even with elderly and older people, dietary requirements are extremely important. And I see this a lot with singing in care homes, that they've got a very hard job sometimes when people get older to try and get the right nutrients into their systems, especially things like protein, because of course as you age and you start to lose muscle, this affects your bones, and it's really important to make sure as you age you are eating protein, enough protein to maintain muscle to protect your bones from breaks and osteoporosis. And this is all links, doesn't it, as well to menopause. So yes, I do have knowledge in all of those areas. So if you're worried about that, or you want any questions, you want to ask anything about that, please just ask me. So yes, I think I've actually covered every single question I had to ask. If you found this interesting and helpful and you want some help, please ask me, please contact me. I'm still running my offer, and it stops from July the 1st, which actually is tomorrow, but I have actually put on my page today that anybody contacts me over the weekend and books in for a free chat, I will obviously still honour the discount over the weekend. And if you're just someone that's maybe got some more questions that you want to ask me, just message me. It's fine. I'm here. This is why I do these videos. And yes, it's my business. And yes, I want to earn a living from it. But I also want to feel like I'm giving help out to people for free of charge. So there's just simple things that you could do to change. You don't need to speak to me or work with me with. Why would you need to pay for that? So yeah, this is what I'm here for. So please ask me any questions. If you've got any ones that maybe I've missed or you haven't answered, let me know. And I'll do my best to answer them for you. But I shall leave you in peace and quiet now. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.